All right, everybody. We are going to talk about graphing absolute value functions. Now, the idea is when you finish this that you can graph these things. So in order to do that, we're going to talk a little bit about what is absolute value, and we're going to talk about then go into graphing these by plotting points. And then you will have the opportunity to practice this on your practice sheet. So let's take a look on what an absolute value function is. All right, so absolute value, a good way of thinking of it is the distance a number is from 0 on a number line, right? So we write in 0, and I'll write that down so you see it. So how far away it is what the whole idea of absolute value. So if you think about, if we've got a number line here, right, and you've got 0 here, and then we've got 7, right, you would naturally say, well, this is 7 units away, right? 7 units away from 0, right? Well, what if we were at -7? Well, if we're at -7, and I say, how far is it for you to get from -7 to 0? Hopefully, you would say 7 units, right? Not -7 units, right? And so that's kind of where the concept of absolute value comes in, is that you're always looking at ways in which you can represent something that doesn't need to be listed as a negative. Okay, and so let's practice this. All right, so and this is reviewed for most of us, right? And so what we look for, the notation we look for in absolute value is these brackets. So anything that's inside a bracket means that we're going to make that a positive value. So if we have like -2 in the brackets, that would make it 2. If we have 9 in the brackets, right, that would make it 9. If we had, negative, I don't know, 24, that's going to be 24, right? It just makes whatever it is into a positive. Okay, and so for our little quick review, let's evaluate this. All right, so you've got the -9 inside the brackets, and try to think about the brackets as if they are like parentheses. So where PEMDAS applies, right? And you want to take care of work inside out, take care of what's in the innermost brackets first, and work your way out. So we only have one set right here, right? So -9 is going to become 9, and then there's nothing else to do to it. And there was nothing to simplify because -9 is just, it's -9. That's what it is. All right, absolute value of a positive number is always just basically that number. So the absolute value of 10 is 10. How far away is 10 from 0 on a number line? It's 10 units, right? Plus, all right, absolute value of -8 is 8, because how far away is -8? From 0 on a number line, it's 8 units. So 10 plus 8 simplifies to 18, and that's our answer. All right, this one right here, the absolute value, so we're going to do this first. So the absolute value of -5 is 5. And then I have this negative sign that gets brought down here. All right, so that's good. We'll leave that how it is. And then we're subtracting. Well, let's work on this. Well, the absolute value of -6 is 6, right? And then there's this other negative sign here that's outside the absolute value brackets. So we have this. And then it's just a matter of, okay, well, just imagine you drop the parentheses and you have a minus. Well, what do you do when you have 2 of those? Well, they become a plus, right? When you have 2 negatives right next to each other. So basically that's -5 plus 6, which gives you 1. And then this last one here, work inside out. So we're going to do this first right here. And so the absolute value of -4 is 4. And then we're subtracting 5 from it. Well, let's do that because we're still inside the absolute value brackets. But I got to simplify this before I can apply the absolute value function to it. So 4 minus 5 is -1, absolute value of that. And then now we will take the absolute value of -1, and that's going to give us +1. So that's our little review of absolute value. In the accompanying video to this, we're now going to look at how do we graph these things. All right, so stay tuned.